How could you possibly be unworthy of the substance of your being? April 19, 2013. John, good afternoon, dear Jesus. Thanks for your last message. Can we start a new one to post tomorrow night, please? Today seems to be another blah day for me. I have an acceptance of life as I am experiencing it, but no enthusiasm for it. Anyhow, if you are happy to do so, please dictate. Jesus, good afternoon, John. You know that I am always happy to offer you a message which you can share on the blog. You are not alone in experiencing the blahs. Everyone is adjusting to the new energies surrounding you which are unfamiliar and tiring. As you adjust, this will change and you will feel far more energized, peaceful, and content. Hang in there, you are all doing great work for which you are divinely honored, and the rewards for your efforts are getting very close to being revealed to you. Pray, meditate, and persist, knowing that your Father is taking care of you in every moment, and that joy is to overwhelm you. John, thanks, but I don't feel motivated by life, nor do I feel any enthusiasm, just the blahs, as I said above. Anyway, please dictate an uplifting and inspiring message for me to share. Well, either I didn't or couldn't listen or hear you. I am sorry. Can you please start over, and help me to relax and hear? My failure to make contact with you or Saul over the last week or so has depressed me, as has my lack of enthusiasm to do so. Jesus, good morning, John. How could you possibly be unworthy of the substance of your being? There is no such thing as failure. It is just another aspect of the illusion that you use to beat yourself up, or others. Just let it go, like all other forms of judgment which serve only to distract you from being yourself, namely love. That is what you are. You have just forgotten and have come to believe that you need to receive it, when in fact you always have it in abundance. If you do not experience it, that is because you have chosen to judge yourselves as being without it, in need of it, and by making that judgment you have effectively chosen to block it out, believing yourselves unworthy of it. And so you seek it, frequently in ways that cannot possibly help you to find it. How could you possibly be unworthy of the substance of your being? You were created in love, by love, from love. There is nothing else, which is just another word that signifies God, the source of all that exists, and of which every sentient being is an essential and inseparable part. Separation from that source is inconceivable, unachievable, utterly impossible. You are constantly and eternally one with God, period. No further discussion of this divine truth has any meaning. You are all eternally loved and cherished by your Heavenly Father, and nothing can change that, ever. Quite often, a large quantity of the time that you think you are spending reasoning or thinking logically about an issue is in fact spent in judgment, self-doubt, and self-justification, as you try to convince yourself. I know I am right, this is right, and I need to explain to him where he is at fault. Leading to resentment, anger, and depression, as you realize that you cannot change the other person's perception. Of course you can change your own, but to do so would be a sign of weakness, an admission that you were wrong and that he was right. Stop taking things personally, because doing so just loads you up with anger and resentment which eat away at your self-respect and self-esteem, making you feel bad about yourself. When you make the choice to cease taking things personally, you cease to be offended. You feel freer, lighter, and life flows more smoothly and easily for you. Much of your discontent, your dissatisfaction with life comes from allowing what others say or do to upset you. And you tend to be very good at justifying those feelings. How could he have said or done that? Does he not see how he has hurt me? It's so unfair. When you choose not to be offended, you are effectively accepting yourself instead of accepting another's non-acceptance of you. When you accept yourself, instead of trying to justify yourself to yourself, you place yourself in a position from which you can observe yourself with kindness and compassion. Then you are able to become aware of any aspects of yourself that are, or appear to be, unloving, and make a choice to release or change them. Trying to change yourself because someone else has judged an aspect of you as unacceptable does not work. Yes, you may hide or disguise that aspect because it has been so judged, maybe you even feel ashamed of it, but it lives on within you, causing bitterness and resentment because of the judgment from another that you experienced. After a judgment has been made and accepted, even if you do not agree with it, it is very difficult to look at what has been judged dispassionately. But if you do not take things personally, then another's judgment will not offend or unsettle you, and you will be able to hear it and assess its validity with practical impartiality. You are all divine beings rediscovering that you are in essence, one. Even though your present experience is as an individual coping with the problems with which separation presents you, confusion, misunderstanding, conflict, non-acceptance, judgment, and rediscovery of your oneness occurs when you spend time quietly listening to your intuition, to your spiritual nature, to your true self, lovingly assisted by those in the spiritual realms whom you call on for guidance. You are always enveloped in the field of divine love, but the busyness of your daily lives distracts you from it, leading you away towards situations of stress and conflict, and other unloving states that hide reality from you. When you follow the news, whether through the mainstream media or through alternate sites and networks, much of it is depressing, frightening, and seemingly very real. That is why it is essential that you spend time daily, quietly communicating with your friends in the spiritual realms, and seeking their support and guidance. What they offer you will raise your spirits and reassure you that you are one with them, with God, and that love is the answer, the only answer in every situation. For eons you have bought into the enormous fallacy that betrayal, conflict, war, and suffering are inevitable aspects of life on Earth, and this is constantly re-emphasized by the endless 24-hour news cycles reporting on events of that kind. It does not have to be like that. In fact, it is utterly unnatural, but you constructed the illusion to experience separation, an unreal and inconceivable state. And separation is fearful, me, by myself, alone, and under constant threat. You have tried to establish peace and stability through force of arms, and over the eons that method has proved time and time again that it does not work, because those in power always abuse their positions. However, the truth of the concept that all are one and that the thoughts, words, and actions of each affects everyone else is finally becoming widely understood, and groups are forming all over the world with the intent to join together in peace, harmony, and love to resolve all your worldly problems. These groups are open to the field of divine love enveloping the planet, and it is influencing them powerfully and effectively. As these groups grow, develop, intermingle, and communicate, as they are doing, constantly, amazing results will be achieved quite rapidly in the collective move away from enforcement and into peaceful and harmonious cooperation. It is only a very few who wish to maintain the status quo, and their supporters are falling away as the field of divine love draws ever more of you into its loving and most enticing embrace. A vision of peace and harmony has been developing within humanity that is gaining widespread acceptance and changing forever your collective intent. That vision will be achieved. Your loving brother, Jesus. Channeled by John Smallman. johnsmallman2.wordpress.com